talk on loops in PHP. So this will be the part 3 of our crash course PHP tutorials. So here we are going to talk about for loops, for each loop, while loop, and do while loop. So first of all, let's see exactly what loops are. So when you want to iterate something into your program, when you want to repeat some statements, when you want to do some repetitive statements or anything like that, recursive statements, then that time you need to use the looping block. So basically that gives you a pretty good uh, access to the arrays or data inside the arrays and lists or something like that when you want to iterate and display it on the for a home page or the web page. So that way it will be very helpful. So let's first of all dive into the actual code. So the very basic and very useful kind of a loop is the for loop. The for loop actually defines uh, like there are three parameters need to pass. First is the uh, normal variable, so that will be like the initializing variable, that is x equals to 0. So you can start up with x equal to 10, you can start up with x equal to 9 or anything like that. And the second parameter is the condition with or expression you want to put into this. So in this case I'm gonna run this particular loop for 10 times. So I'm gonna say if x is less than 10, okay, then I have to increment that x value. Okay, so everything is happening in the same location. There is no other what you can say incrementer or decrementer sitting outside the loop or inside the loop anywhere. So everything is happening in the same line, and you are getting basically recursive access or recursive way to iterate your statements. So here our statements will go, and what I'm going to do right now, just print out 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So basically I'm just gonna echo out the value of x and save and refresh. So as you can see, we have like 10 numbers printed on the screen, but I have written a single code, like 8 line of code, that actually 2 lines consist of the comment, but actual this whole program is of only 3 lines. So basically that is the advantage which you get. So this is a basic example of the for loop. Now let's try to understand what exactly the for each loop. But before diving into the for each loop, we need to have an array. Okay. So in the first video, if I'm not wrong, I have explained about the arrays. But again, I'm gonna explain what exactly the arrays and how you can create an array in PHP. So I'm creating a variable a and just assigning an array. So array, and inside that there will be a list of elements. So for example, I want to say A, then B, and C, like that. So we have like 3 elements into our array, and this will be like our single dimensional array. Sorry for the spelling mistake, single dimensional array. Okay, and we have another dimensional array, that is multi-dimensional array. So we like having a array, and we can say A, inside that A we have another array. Okay, so there will be like 1 2 3. Okay, and then we have another element of this array, which is B, and it is pointing to another array. Okay, so this is like a multi-dimensional array. So array inside the array is like an what you can say, and there will be infinite number of elements into this particular list. So there is no problem. Now let's put the semicolon so we do not end up with an error. And dimensional, so multi-dimensional array. Now let's try to iterate these arrays using a for each loop. Okay, so what we have to do first, we need to put a variable or an array into our first what you can say position of the for each loop, and then we have to say loop this as value. Okay, so you can extract the key also. So you have to say k equal to and greater than sign. Okay, so that way the loop will return you the key also of this particular thing. Now let's try to print this out and we see what we are getting. Now I'm gonna print the key also. So putting a square bracket decoration, you can do it whatever you want, that's not a problem. And then we have value, and then we need to put a break, otherwise it will gonna end up in a single line. Okay, so refresh. As you can see, we got a keys and all the values printed on the screen, so pretty good. Now let's remove this first one, and then we can see what exactly it gets perfect. Now let's try to change the array and see what results we get. Basically, let's put the uh, uh, a different array. Now I'm just changing the array, the single dimensional array, to a multi-dimensional array, as you can see, and save and refresh. We will get an error. Why? Because we are actually printing out an array which is not a part of an echo statement. So echo statement does not print array, it will throw you an error. Okay, so instead of this, what we can do at the first place, print r. Okay, instead of echoing out like this way, you can just use the print r statement, or print r function rather, and we can print it out exactly all the arrays, okay, inside this particular loop. So as you can see, the A element is pointing to this particular list, B element is pointing to this particular list. Okay, great. Now let's go ahead, and I'm gonna show you a nested for each loop so that you can understand better way how basically multi-dimensional array need to be parsed using for loop or for each loop. So now let's remove this line and start another for each loop inside a for each loop. And what we have to provide over here, we have to provide an array. So in this case, the first element or every element of this array is basically an array. So the value which is going to be present in this particular variable will be an array. And here we have to loop it with another variable. So I'm saying echo, and echo inside that I'm going to say k. Okay, as this particular thing is of the first element. Okay, and inside that I'm gonna say the value, so that value is actually t. So let's see what we get. Okay, we forget to add a break tag, that's why it is in the one line. So here you can see a. So we have like 3 elements into the A array, so it is printing out the array name also and the element name also. So this is pretty much it. Now let's just quickly open up this. Yeah, okay. Now the for each loop, I guess you guys have get exactly how for each loop works. And now another loop, which is the while loop. Okay, now while loop has 2 types, a single while loop statement and a do while loop statement. Okay, so do while. Okay, we're gonna see both of these. First we'll check it out, while loop, a do while loop. Okay, and do while loop is what is basically the difference between do while loop and while loop. So if you can see the do while loop, the first statement is always going to execute irrespective of what statement we provide. That is a very simple explanation about and the difference between the do while loop and while loop. Okay, so when you want to run any specific statement before executing the expression, or before compiling the expression in your loop, then you can try with this do while loop kind of a thing. Okay, where exactly the first particular block will definitely going to execute, and then it will going to check that is this value is actually valid or not. So I'm going to show you by just making this x equal to 1. Now in this case we need to define an x variable which is actually equal to 0, and then what will happen basically, it will gonna show you only single element. So okay, basically like right now I just gonna say echo what I can say 1. Okay, save and refresh. See, now if this value is actually equal to 1, then this expression gets satisfied and it will gonna start rotating. Maybe this will gonna be an infinite loop. Let's try that again and see what exactly happens. Refresh. See, this will be in an infinite loop because we didn't provide any break statement or anything like that. So let's quickly break this guy because it will be actually crashing this particular thing. Maybe it is actually crashing. Let's open it into a new tab and save. Okay, thank God it has not crashed my PC. Great. Then now in this case, how you are going to limit this particular thing. So how you're going to limit the iterations in do while loop basically. So you have to keep, let's say x is less than 10. Okay, So in this case, you don't have to put any break statement. It will automatically shut off. Okay. But in this case, you need to add an incrementer. So I'm saying x plus plus and refresh. See, it has stopped for 10 values. Okay. Now if I say I need 100 values, and I'll just put the break tag so that it will be better. See, there are like 100 values printed. So this is the way we can do and work with the do while loop. In the same fashion, we can work with the while loop also. So in the while loop, we have to first of all define the expression which we are defining right now. So you can say this is like something inverse of what we have did right now. So whatever the statements which are present in the do block should be present inside the while loop. Okay. So for example, I'm just doing the same thing over here and printing out 1 for 10 times. Okay. And here I'm just gonna increment the x value, and x is less than equal to 100, for example, and let's need to remove this because otherwise it will actually increment the x value and we will end up in nothing. So output is pretty much the same. So let's say this is a while loop. Okay, let's print this statement. Let's create a difference. Okay, great. So we have get 100 times while loop statements. As you can see now, it is limited to 1, but why exactly it doesn't run? Because there is no equal to sign. Okay, so refresh. As you can see, there is only one time it has iterated. So this is pretty much it for the loops in PHP. If you guys have any comments, if you have any confusions in this, please comment me. I will get back to you on that. If you like this video, please thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to get regular updates. Thank you.